Familiar stranger from the past. This mysterious and very exciting story is devoted to those who are literally addicted to reading detective novels or listening to various scary narratives. Welcome to the world of mystery, our devoted attenders. There is a man in his 50s who is fond of reading different detectives. His name is George. George is really obsessed with this format of literature. Many years ago, he stopped working due to being a private owner of the building company. The man is currently surrounded with the professional staff, the members of which get the salary every month for carrying out a qualified work. Thus, George doesn't need to work at all, just to enjoy every minute of calm and carefree life. Some days ago, George started to read a new eye-catching detective novel written by a modern author. The structure of it seems to be a bit unusual but really creative. At first, the story refers to the victim who unexpectedly dies. The murder is not visible at all. Then the adventure's line returns to the time when the person is already alive. This is going to be a successful rich man who lives in a huge manor together with his wife. His home is literally surrounded by the most comfortable conditions, which allow them to enjoy every minute of existence. In addition, the maid and the gardener live in the house. They have been faithfully serving the family of Boston for almost 5 years. Today, Mrs. Boston feels herself very sick because her head is hurting a lot. The family's doctor went for a vacation, thus cannot arrive. The situation is not pleasant. "And what should we do?" asked Mr. Boston. "Our doctor is not going to leave on vacation." By the way, the man had decided to ask his workers, "Do you know any good doctors who can arrive immediately?" Gardener and maid started bethinking, aspiring to figure out any suitable variants. Their facial expressions were very serious. Mr. Boston started to lose patience. "While you are trying to think, it'll be needed to get my wife to the hospital." The gardener remembered and said, I know. Mr. Brandon became nervous. "Don't shout so loudly. Molly is sick." "Sorry, Mr. Brandon. I have just remembered a really good doctor. When I was feeling myself not well, he cured me nearly in 2 days. His name is Dr. Lade." "Thus, what are you waiting for? Call him now." "Okay, Mr. Brandon," suddenly replied the gardener and went to call the doctor. The maid was standing near Mr. Boston. He turned his head to her and indifferently asked, "Why are you still here? Go and make a cup of tea with berries for my wife and coffee for me." "Surely, Mr. Boston." The maid immediately went to carry out the orders. Within the way, she was suddenly stopped by the gardener who was returning the owner of manor. "Don't you remember tomorrow?" "What is gonna be tomorrow?" The maid started to hesitate. "Have I forgotten about the banquet?" "Oh my God, Mr. Boston will be very angry." "No, there will be no banquets tomorrow, but Friday the 13th. Every year, within this day, a lot of strange things happen, especially in our boss manner. Surely, the maid remembered. Last year it was terrible to stay here. Probably it's better to ask Mr. Boston for a weekend. Yeah. In a minute, the gardener was already speaking with the owner of Manor. Mr. Boston, Dr. Lade will be here in nearly 30 minutes. How does Mr. Boston feel herself? Nothing changed. The hope is for the doctor's help. That's why we'll be waiting for him. Then Mr. Lade remembered. Lily, have you brought the cup of tea for my wife? Surely, Mr. Boston. The coffee will be ready in a few minutes. Okay. In 30 minutes, Dr. Lade arrived at the manor of Brandon's. Good afternoon, Dr. Lade. I am Mr. Boston, George of Boston. My wife is sick. She had a headache. Help her, please. Good afternoon. Let's go to her. Mr. Boston and the doctors went upstairs to Mr. Boston's room. Good afternoon, Mrs. Boston. I'm Dr. Lade. What worries you? I have had a headache since this morning. In the room. The doctor listened to Mrs. Boston attentively and then started to perform medical examination. In some minutes, his professional conclusion was totally ready. Nothing very terrible, just a little cold. You need to drink tea, stay in bed for some days, and now I will write you a few good pharmacies which you ought to take. Thank you, doctor, replied Mrs. Boston. Will you do everything that you advise? Not at all. I'll come tomorrow. After the doctors leaving the gardener, and maid went to Mr. Boston in order to ask him for a day off. When they entered his cabinet, the owner was sitting and looking through a newspaper. He was very focused. Mr. Brandon, have you got some spare minutes? Asked his subordinates. Only a minute, I'm busy right now. Mr. Brandon, we are really sorry to disturb you, but could you please appoint one day off for us tomorrow? Asked the gardener. The maid was standing near him. If it won't be a great problem, she quickly edited. For both? At first, Mr. Boston asked indifferently, but then remembered the subordinate's question and became nervous. Are you out of your mind? One of your bosses is sick and you're going to take a day off? Mr. Boston, we will definitely work out after spending the weekend. Okay, said Mr. Boston. But notice that if you take one day off, we'll be unemployed from today. The jubilant faces of the workers eventually turned into frightened ones. They don't have a desire to lose a well-paid job at all. Okay, Mr. Boston. The maid's voice was literally trembling. We won't go for a weekend tomorrow, and we will help you to take care of Mrs. Boston. That's a different matter, replied the boss. And now you're nearly free. Your task is just to make a cup of tea for Mrs. Boston. Okay, boss, replied the maid, and both of the workers dutifully left the cabinet. The Friday of 13th, both the gardener and the maid are at the manor, not having any desire to stay without work and a good salary. The day of bad luck, silently said the maid. Yes, replied the gardener, and we are here. When the workers saw Mr. Boston, they changed the theme of their conversation in a split of seconds, without any hesitation. By the way, Kate, this is the name of their maid. Have you prepared tea for Mrs. Boston? Surely, the maid said. That's good. The boss got into the conversation, and will the doctor come? In some hours, eventually replied the gardener. Okay, we'll wait for him. If he will come earlier, tell him that I'm in my cabinet. Surely, Mr. Boston, we'll do as you said. Later, the creepy things in Boston's manor started appearing. When the gardener started planting new flowers, the black cat crossed his path. In a few minutes, one of the plants turned into a live one. She had huge, scary eyes, an ugly mouth, and was moving unnaturally. The gardener wasn't able to understand what was happening. The creature was getting closer and closer to him. The worker aspired to hide behind other plants, but they were also turning into the live ones. Although in some seconds, an angry Mr. Boston appeared in front of the gardener's eye. The worker looked around at this time. The plants were not alive at all. Bob, the doctor said that can't come tomorrow. What should I do now? You said that these days he's not busy at all. You lied to me. The speechless gardener didn't know what to answer. In a split second, giant red eyes appeared right in the sky. Mr. Boston also saw the nonsense. Then a strong wind started blowing. The gardener turned to be dreadfully scared. Thus run to the manor with the screams. This is all because of you. You didn't let us take a day off. Through this person I knew. Now see the results. One day I will avenge you for this. Not pleasant things also happened with Maid and Mr. Boston's wife, who were staying in the manor. The front doors were opening with a key themselves, literally from the inside. The maid was forced to close them every time they opened. This day, an enormous number of ghosts had a terrible impact on the manor and all its members. The reader closed the book with the words, "What a delusion! It's not a detective but a rave written by an talented human." He wasn't able to finish his speech. Someone grabbed him by the neck and began mercilessly strangling. "Who are you?" George was trying to ask. "Me?" asked the stranger and turned to another one. "I guess we may tell him." The murderer eased the pressure a bit. "I'm your wife's doctor, and she is your maid." "Cariness?" George aspired to say. "Oh no, you haven't listened to the end. We are the ones from your past. Your daughter and your brother of the woman with whom you once did a terrible thing. You left her, knowing that you would have a common child. She suffered for a long time and soon died within childbirth. But what woman gave birth to a daughter? Your daughter." "I'm sorry." "Oh, you don't need to be sorry. We promised ourselves that someday we would take a revenge on you. And now we will finally do it. Goodbye, Mr. Boston," they said, and strangle him at last.